80% of people abandon their goals within 30 days, and it's not because they're lazy, it's because their brain is running outdated software, built on fear, guilt, and invisible sabotage. Let's rewire that today. You set goals, you make plans, but you still stall. You know better, but you keep sabotaging anyway. Try asking yourself, why do I keep sabotaging my goals even when I know better? You say you want success. You make plans, set goals, but weeks go by and you're still stuck. You're watching yourself not follow through. And worst of all, you know better, but you keep sabotaging your goals anyway. Why? You scroll past productivity hacks. You watch all the motivational reels. You know what you should do, but when it's 7 a.m. or 11 p.m., when it's time to write that page, make that call, hit that gym session, suddenly your brain negotiates. I'll start tomorrow. I'm tired. I just need a break. And there it is. Self-sabotage. But here's the truth no one talks about. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You've just got hidden scripts running your life. Invisible programming that makes you resist the very thing you say you want. And I get it, because I've been there. There were days I felt like my own enemy, like I was watching myself slowly abandon the person I could have become. Not because I didn't care, but because something in me was afraid of changing too much, too fast. That's why we created Zestify Up. It's not just a YouTube channel, it's a movement, a rebellion against wasted potential. It's for people who are done with being stuck in patterns they didn't choose, and ready to take back control of their mind, their money, their mission. We're still new here. Every like, every comment, it doesn't just feed the algorithm. It feeds us. It tells us what you're going through, what's resonating, what to double down on. So if something hits you in the heart today, drop a comment. Let us know. Your feedback literally shapes what we build next. This video, it's not about motivation, it's about breaking the loop. We're diving into the 6 brutal psychological reasons why you keep sabotaging your goals. And if you stay till the end, I'll show you the counter code, how to break free and finally move forward. This is your mirror, this is your moment. Let's go. Reason number 1. Your identity doesn't match your goals. This is the most ignored trap, and it's the most powerful. You set millionaire goals, but your identity still thinks like someone who's trying not to fail. Here's how sabotage starts. If you don't believe you are the kind of person who succeeds, then every goal you set becomes a threat to your ego. You subconsciously pull back just to stay safe in the familiar. You'll ghost your own potential, because somewhere deep down your brain whispers, "This isn't me. This feels wrong. I don't deserve this level yet." Let's break it down with a real-world situation. You say you want to be fit, but your inner story still whispers, "I've always been the fat friend." So when you start losing weight, suddenly you're too tired to train, or you binge eat at night, and boom, you're back in the identity that feels safe. Or maybe you say you want to be rich, but you still feel poor on the inside. So when money shows up, you undercharge, you overspend, you delay asking for what you're worth, because a part of you believes success would expose you as a fraud. And this isn't just theory. Studies in behavioral psychology prove it. We sabotage when our self-image doesn't match our goals. Your brain fights progress that feels unfamiliar, because unfamiliar equals unsafe. So what's the fix? It starts with identity. Before chasing the result, become the person who can handle it. Don't say, "I want to be disciplined." Say, "I am the kind of person who shows up. I am the type who wins." And say it even when it feels fake, because identity is not something you discover. It's something you declare and reinforce. Change who you are on the inside and your actions will follow, automatically. No willpower required. The second you stop asking for permission to evolve is the moment you become dangerous to your old self. And here's the scary part most people miss. Some of us stay stuck, not because we're afraid to succeed, but because we're addicted to the struggle. Let's talk about that next. Reason number 2, you're addicted to the struggle. Now this one's going to sting. You say you want peace, success, freedom, but deep down, you crave the chaos. Because that chaos, that struggle, it's familiar. It's what you grew up with. It's what feels like home. If your nervous system spent years surviving drama, crisis, scarcity, then stillness feels suspicious. Progress feels uncomfortable. And success? It actually feels unsafe. So you unconsciously create friction. You overcomplicate your schedule. You delay rest, you chase toxic people, you self-sabotage, not because you hate yourself, but because your body is addicted to the chemicals of stress, cortisol, adrenaline, the survival cocktail. This is real science. Your nervous system can literally be trained to seek out pain over peace. It's like your brain thinks, if I'm not struggling, am I even trying? Let that land. Some of you don't feel worthy unless you're suffering. You tell yourself the struggle is noble, but often it's just familiar. And familiar is what we confuse with true. Here's what that addiction looks like. You finally have a good week. You panic. You look for what's wrong. You miss a deadline on purpose just to feel the rush again. Or you start fights. Or you delay launching. And you call it perfectionism. But really, it's sabotage in disguise. So how do you break this pattern? Here's the mindset shift. You don't have to suffer to grow. Success doesn't have to feel like a war. Yes, success doesn't have to feel like a war. Start normalizing peace. Train your nervous system to feel safe when things are actually going well. When life is calm, don't look for fire to put out. Tell yourself, this peace is not laziness, it's alignment. This progress is not fake, it's earned. This ease is allowed. Because if you don't reset your baseline, you'll always find a way to bring struggle back, no matter how far you climb. And listen, if this resonates, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, what's one pattern you keep falling back into, even when you know it's hurting you? Why does your comment matter? Because we're building Zestify up with you, not just for you. Every time you share what hits, what hurts, or what feels real, we learn what needs to go deeper. We're not just making videos, we're building a library of real-life breakthroughs, and your voice shapes what comes next. If enough of you relate to this chapter, we'll create a full series on rewiring the nervous system, breaking emotional addiction, and stepping into peace, without guilt. So don't just scroll away, be part of the architecture. Let's build tools that don't just sound good, they stick. And if you're new here, and this feels different, subscribe so you don't miss the weekly posts. And if you stick with us till the final chapter, we'll share something we've never released before. Remember this again, if you don't reset your baseline, you'll always find a way to bring struggle back, no matter how far you climb. And the craziest part, this addiction to struggle feeds another monster. One that whispers in your ear every time you get close to the goal. You don't deserve this, because you are not ready. Let's go deeper. Reason number 3, you think you're not ready. Let's cut straight through the lie. I'm not ready yet. No, you're scared. Scared of being seen, scared of failing, scared of succeeding and then losing it all. You say you're waiting until you're more confident, more skilled, more perfect. But deep down, that delay is just disguise. Disguised procrastination, disguised fear. And the truth is brutal. You'll never feel 100% ready, because growth doesn't send a calendar invite. Readiness is a myth the world sold you, to keep you small, to keep you waiting, to keep you obedient. You think Elon was ready when he started SpaceX after nearly going bankrupt. You think Oprah was ready when she launched her own network with no roadmap. They weren't ready. They were willing. And that's the difference. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to go anyway. Want an uncomfortable truth. The version of you that's ready only shows up after you've started. Courage comes after you act, not before. So what's really stopping you? You say not enough time, not enough clarity, not enough support. But often it's this. If I go all in and I fail, then I'll prove I was never good enough. That's the fear that grips you. So you play small to protect your ego, you stall to protect your image, and you call it planning. But it's just fear in a fancy outfit. Here's the shift. Stop asking, am I ready? Start asking, am I done waiting? Because life doesn't wait for the perfectly prepared. It rewards the ones who move. You want confidence? Do the thing scared. You want clarity? Start messy. You want to grow? Jump before you feel qualified. Because if you keep sitting on your gifts, they'll rot inside you. And here's what they don't tell you. The longer you wait, the heavier the dream becomes. Until one day, it doesn't even feel possible anymore. And you forget it was ever yours. That's how most people live. And that's how they die. Full of potential, empty on peace. So, say it with me. I don't need to feel ready. I need to feel done waiting. And if you're still with us, thank you. You're not just a passive listener. You're part of the 1% who doesn't just scroll for hype. You build with us. You grow with us. And you don't want fluff. You want fire. So don't go anywhere. Because the next reason, it hits deeper. It's not about fear. It's not about struggle. It's about your identity, the invisible program running your life without you realizing it. The real reason why no matter how hard you push, you always crash. And we're going to show you how to delete that old identity and install a new one. One that doesn't just dream, but delivers. Stay sharp, stay close. Let's move to the next reason. Reason number 4, you're not lazy. You're just living as the wrong identity. Let me tell you a story. There was a point in my life where I couldn't get off the couch. Not because I didn't have dreams. I had big ones. Books I wanted to write. Businesses I wanted to start. The mansion I wanted to buy. A life I wanted to live. But every time I tried to move, I stalled, distracted, scrolling, sleeping, stuck. I kept saying, I just need more motivation. But the truth was uglier. I was trying to create a new life with an old identity. And that will never work. Here's what most people never realize. Your identity, not your goals, runs the show. You might want to be rich, but if your identity is still I'm the broke guy who never finishes anything, you'll sabotage every opportunity. You might want to be confident, but if deep down you see yourself as the awkward one, you'll shrink every time someone looks your way. Identity isn't what you hope you are. It's what you've accepted as true, often without realizing it. Maybe someone once called you lazy. Maybe you failed once and labeled yourself not good enough. Maybe your family said, people like us don't make it big, and somewhere along the way, you believed it. That belief became your baseline, and your life, it kept snapping back to it, like a thermostat. You want real change? You don't need more willpower, you need a new story. The story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. So ask yourself, what story has been secretly writing your life? Is it, I'm too late, I always mess it up, I don't belong there? Good news, stories can be rewritten. Today you uninstall the lie. You delete the identity that no longer serves you. You stop calling yourself lazy. You start calling yourself disciplined in training. You stop saying, I'm broke. You start saying, I'm a builder, I'm learning wealth. You stop saying, I'm lost. You start saying, I'm exploring, I'm upgrading. You stop saying, I'm failing. You start saying, I'm learning, I'm adapting. Because identity is not fixed, it's installed. And the fastest way to shift identity, act like the person you want to become, before you feel like them. Want to be a leader? Make one bold decision today. Want to be fit? Move your body, even for 10 minutes. Want to be wealthy? Study money like your life depends on it, because it does. Every move you make is a vote for your future self. And enough votes, that identity becomes real. So don't ask, how do I stay motivated? Ask, what identity am I reinforcing today? This is where the internal shift happens, where change becomes effortless. Because now it's not about forcing habits, it's about living in alignment. And trust me, once you change the root identity, everything else changes automatically. In next chapter, we'll take this deeper. You'll learn exactly how to break the invisible loops that keep pulling you backward, even when you're making progress. Because it's not your habits, it's not your calendar, it's the emotional anchors you haven't cut yet. We're about to show you how, so breathe, you're right where you need to be. And if any part of this hit home, tell us, seriously, drop a comment, because your words guide this mission. Zestify Up isn't some perfect brand preaching from a pedestal, it's a living movement shaped by your journey. And if we hear your story, we just might build a whole series around it. Let's grow this together, one chapter at a time. One identity shift at a time. Stay with us. Reason number 5 will flip something inside you. Reason number 5. The invisible emotional loops that keep pulling you back. You've tried before, haven't you? You got the planner, watched the motivational videos. Maybe you even started that new habit. Woke up early, read a book, hit the gym, and for a few days, you felt unstoppable. But then, something happens. You fall off. Miss one day, then another, and before you know it, you're right back where you started, again. So what's really going on? Here's the truth no one told you. You're not failing because of a lack of discipline. You're caught in an emotional loop. And these loops, they're invisible. You think you're just procrastinating. But deep down, you're protecting yourself from shame, from fear, from the memory of the last time you tried and failed. Let me break it to you like this. Every time you start rising, your subconscious checks your emotional ceiling, and if you're about to break through it, it pulls you back, just like a rubber band. Why? Because success isn't just about systems, it's about safety. Your brain isn't wired for achievement, it's wired for familiarity. And sometimes, struggle feels safer than success, especially if success once hurt you, if you were mocked for being ambitious, if you grew up around scarcity, if you once had money and lost it, if love was withheld unless you performed, or worse, if the best you ever did still wasn't enough. So your mind builds a loop. Don't go too far, don't fly too high, don't shine too bright. Stay in your box, stay in control, stay small, but not because you're weak, because you were trying to survive. Here's the twist. Those loops are based on old pain, but they're creating new prisons, and unless you break them, you'll keep rebuilding the same life in different clothes. So, what do? Step 1, spot the loop. Ask yourself, what emotion do I feel right before I self-sabotage? Is it guilt, fear of judgment, a weird pressure to be perfect? Step 2, speak the truth, say out loud, I'm allowed to succeed, even if I failed before, even if they don't understand, even if it scares me. Step 3, act in rebellion, not against others, but against your own past limitations. If the loop says you always quit after day 3, make day 4 your comeback day. If the loop says people like you don't do this, say, watch me rewrite the script. Because that's what this chapter is, the permission slip you've been waiting for, to be free from the loops you didn't even know were running. This chapter isn't about adding more to your plate, it's about removing the weights tied to your ankles. So if you've been stuck, if your growth always snaps back, if you secretly feel broken, you're not, you're just looped. But now, you see it, and what you can see, you can rewrite. The next chapter will show you how to build a new operating system from the ground up. Not just more goals, but a default mindset that makes success automatic, because once your identity is aligned and your loops are broken, the next step is to upgrade your mental software. Stick with us. It only gets deeper from here. And if this chapter unlocked something for you, drop a lock emoji in the comments. Let's see who's really ready to break free. Zestify Up is more than content. It's your new code. Reason number 6. Fear of losing connection. Ever felt this weird hesitation, like part of you wants to level up, but another part whispers, if I actually do this, who's going to understand me? That's not laziness. That's not procrastination. That's a fear buried so deep most people never see it. Fear of losing connection. You're not just afraid of failing, you're scared of outgrowing the people you love, of becoming the new version of you, and realizing they like the old you better, the broke you, the struggling you, the relatable you. And here's the truth nobody says out loud. Success is lonely, not because you want it to be, but because not everyone's coming with you. Your best friend might joke, oh, you think you're better than us now? Your partner might roll their eyes when you invest in a mentor. Your family might not get why you're saying no to the party and yes to the dream. And it hurts, because connection is survival. Your brain would rather be broke with friends than rich and alone. But here's what I learned, and what I want to give you. If your growth threatens the relationship, it was never connection, it was control. The real ones will adjust. The right people will rise with you, and the ones who can't, they were anchoring you, not lifting you. Growth doesn't mean losing love. It means learning who actually loved you in the first place. So if you're sabotaging your progress, skipping the gym, not launching that idea, always one step away from greatness, ask yourself, what version of me am I trying to protect? And who am I scared of losing? The only thing worse than growing alone is shrinking to stay liked. Don't dim your light just to be easier to look at. Shine anyway. Hey, if this hit you even a little, drop a brain emoji in the comments. Just that emoji. Quiet signal, loud truth. It tells us you're done playing small just to keep the peace. And if this chapter spoke to something you've been battling, let us know. We can dive even deeper into this in a follow-up video. Zestify Up isn't here to just motivate you. We're here to understand you, so you can understand yourself. Type that emoji. Step forward. Your new identity is now getting forged. And please don't forget to give us a like. Hey, if you're ready to believe that wealth isn't just reserved for the top 1%, then the next video is for you. Simply click the link that appears on the screen. This next episode is made for the dreamers, the doers, and anyone who's ready to grow big and build real wealth. Don't just watch. Commit. Your future starts with what you do next.